Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm doing another story time video for you guys because I got so many requests to do another one after I put my first one up. So I will link my first one in the bottom bar in case you guys have not seen that yet. And give this video a thumbs up if you guys like story time videos, and I'll continue to do them for you. But this video is about another very frightening experience that happened to me when I was in college. Everything that happened to me in my life that was scary happened while I was in college. I don't know why. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get on into the story time. Alright, so to give you guys a little bit of a backstory first. One of the years that I was in college, I lived in a random-ish type housing environment. So basically, me and my one friend decided that we wanted to live together. So we requested through the campus housing lottery thing that we wanted to live together. We ended up getting placed into a apartment / townhouse type of thing with 4 other girls. So in total, there was 6 girls. We all lived together in the same apartment, we'll say. The other 4 girls were completely random. They did not request to live together. They did not know each other. So the only people that knew each other were me and my one friend, and then there was the other girls. And we never ended up becoming friends with them really at all. We all had very different schedules. We were involved in different things. We never really saw the other girls. Honestly, I would go weeks and not see any of the other 4 girls that lived in the apartment. I don't know what they did, I don't know where they were, and I didn't really care, to be honest, because they weren't my friends, so I was just okay, well, whatever. But they were all nice. It wasn't we had any ill will towards each other. We all got along. It wasn't we ever fought, but I didn't know them. And part of it is because we all had our own rooms. So we all had 6 single rooms. So we had our own bedroom area and stuff like that. But we did share bathrooms, although I shared my bathroom with the one girl that I knew. So that wasn't an issue. I didn't share a bathroom with any of the 4 girls that I didn't know. And we did all share, though, a kitchen, a dining room, and a living room area that had a TV and some couches and some chairs and stuff. So we did all share that, but they were never in the common areas. They were never in the kitchen, they were never in the dining room, they were never in the living room area. So I don't know where they were, but they were never out. If they were ever in our apartment, they were always in their own room. So we never really got to know them at all. So the whole year goes by, it's completely fine. We don't have any issues, still don't know them at all, but no issues had arose. It was a fine year living together. We all had separate housing for the next year, so it wasn't an issue or anything like that. But it got to be around this time, end of the semester, and my one friend who I lived with, the girl that I knew, she texted me one night when I was in class, and she was like, hey, do you have any jewelry that have bullets hanging off of it? And I was like, what? And I thought she meant studs, and I was like, do you mean studs? I have a bunch of necklaces and bracelets and stuff that had studs on them. Just go in my jewelry drawer, you know where it is, you can take whatever you want. Because I had assumed she was going to a themed party or some kind of event, and she wanted something like that. And she was like, no, I mean, do you have any jewelry that literally have things that look like bullets hanging off of it? And then she ended up sending me a picture of a necklace from Hot Topic. It was a choker, and it had a bullet hanging off of it as an accessory type of thing. And she was like, do you have anything like that? And I was like, no, why would I have something like that? You guys know me, you know my style, and so does she. Obviously, Mama's not wearing stuff with bullets hanging off it. That's not my style. I'm what am I, a gangbanger? So now I'm no, why? Why are you being so weird? She sends me a picture of a bullet, and she's like, I found this when I was cleaning. And I'm like, what? Because it was the end of the year, so we were about to move out. So before you move out, you have to clean everything really thoroughly, or you're gonna get hit with all these fees and stuff. So we were in the process of cleaning everything. So she, I guess, was vacuuming the living area where we had all the couches and stuff, and she decided to take the pillow seat things off of the couch and then vacuum underneath there in case people were eating chips or whatever, and it got stuck in between the cushions. So she took them off, and when she took them off, she found that. And I'm like, what the hell? That's so weird. And if people, I feel my freshman year, I lived in a dorm that was 30 years old. So at least 30 people have lived in that dorm before me. So if I found something like that my freshman year, I probably would have been must have been from some other year or whatever. But we were the first people ever to live in this apartment. It was brand new when we moved in. So we knew that that bullet had to have gotten there while we were living in the apartment at some time. So it was just very weird. We knew it did not come from either of us or any friends that we would have ever brought into the apartment, although typically we kind of never really had big social gatherings or parties or anything. We never had that in our apartment. So there was never tons of people. We only had people that we really knew very closely in our apartment. We knew none of our friends and none of us were going to bring bullets or, God forbid, a gun into our apartment. So it was really weird, and I was kind of just that's so weird. She was like, I don't know if it's real, I don't know if I should be scared or not. And I'm like, you know what, just wait till I get back from class and I'll look at it and then we'll decide what we're gonna do. So, because at this point I'm kind of still hoping maybe it was from a necklace type thing or something, because I couldn't really tell from the picture that she sent me. I'm like, maybe it's not real. So on my way back from class, I call Steven because I don't know if I've ever shared this on my channel, but Steven wants to be a cop. Like, that's what he wants to do as his career. His dad has guns. He's been to gun ranges many times, so he's very familiar with guns, although he does not own one himself. He's used them many times, and he's familiar with them, like I said, because his dad does have them. So I called him, told him what was going on. He was like, okay, well, I'll be able to tell you whether or not it's a real bullet, so I'll come over or whatever. So he comes over, he meets me like when I get back from class, and my roommate shows it to us, and he's like, no, that's 100% a real bullet. It's not an accessory from a necklace. He's like, that's a real bullet. And he was able to like figure out what kind of gun it goes to. I don't remember what kind it was, but it was like a legit bullet for a legit gun. And he was like, you know, this is actually like a problem. Like, I don't know why this is here, because we also lived on-campus housing. I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but like, you cannot bring anything like that in on-campus housing. Like, in on-campus housing at my school, you can't even have candles. Like, they don't even allow that because it's like a fire hazard, let alone bringing in firearms to an on-campus apartment. Like, no. So that was what made it even worse. So I ended up calling my mom because I didn't really know what to do, because I didn't know whether or not we should call the police about it, because it wasn't like anyone was in danger. I just didn't really know what to do. I didn't want to throw it out in the garbage. So I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Because I didn't know if it had been used, and then like I didn't know. So I called my mom. She's like, no, like, you need to call the police right now. And my mom sometimes can like get like crazy about stuff, but like in this situation, she was definitely right. But I was like, okay, but I don't want to call like 911 because it's not like anybody's hurt. It's not like it's like an emergency. I don't want to take the police away from something that may be a real emergency. So she's like, all right, we'll look up the regular number for the police station and call that. So that's what we ended up doing. We ended up looking up like the regular police number and called them. So I got like a dispatcher lady, I guess. Or I don't think it was a dispatcher. I don't really know who it was, but I got somebody at the police station, and they were like, whoa, we're transferring you over, whatever. They transferred me over to somebody else who I guess was an actual police officer. They're like, we'll be there within minutes, like, say where you are, like, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, like, and they were like making me more nervous because I'm like, whoa, like, they actually think that this is like a serious emergency. So the police must have been really close, because they were literally knocking on our apartment door, I kid you not, 2 minutes later. So they might have already been in like the apartment complex or right in the area, because they were right there. We do have like a legit police force at my university. It's not like it's like township police. My school had their own police force, so they were always like on campus, so they couldn't have been that far, but they were literally there within 2 minutes, probably less than that. So they get in, they're like, when did you guys find this? And they're like writing all this stuff down, and my roommate's like, I found it around like 4 o'clock, and at this point, after all of this had elapsed, it's about 10 o'clock at night. And they're like, why did you wait till 10 o'clock? They were literally yelling at us. They're like, why did you wait till now to call us? Like, this is a real bullet to a real gun on an on-campus property. Like, this means somebody was in this room with a gun, like, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, whoa, like, we didn't say anybody had a gun. But they're like, well, why would somebody just bring in a bullet without a gun? Which I guess is true. So they were literally yelling at us. They're like, why did it take you so long to call us? And we were like, we're sorry, like, we really were not sure whether or not this was a true emergency because nobody was hurt. They're like, it was an emergency, like, you should have called us way before. Like, they were literally yelling at us, which, whatever, like, we got over that. And then they're like, we're gonna need your consent to search the apartment. And we were like, they didn't really ask us, like, can we search the apartment? They were like, we're gonna need your consent to search the apartment. But I mean, it's not like I had anything to hide. I knew I didn't have a gun. I knew it didn't come from me, so I wasn't really nervous about it. Neither was my roommate. So we're like, okay. So they literally, I kid you not, start rummaging through everything in our apartment. They started with the kitchen, which is where we were all talking when they came in. They were literally pulling everything out of the, we had like big, like, what do they call, like cupboards, I guess, or whatever. They're pulling everything out of there. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I actually said something. I was like, we're about to move out. Like, we're in the process of cleaning. That's how we found this. Like, if you guys could not just like throw shit everywhere. I mean, I said it like more diplomatically than that, but I was like, that would be great. So once they got to our actual bedrooms, they were much nicer. They were, I mean, they were still rummaging through stuff. They were still like kind of throwing stuff, but it was like not as bad as the kitchen was. But there was stuff everywhere. Like, they searched high and low every single thing in our apartment. The only thing they could not search is there was a couple girls. Of the 4 girls, 2 of them were there. The other 2 were not. And of the other 2, the one of them that we suspected kind of had some sketchy friends, and it might have been her whose friends brought that in. She was not there, so they could not search her room. They could not search the other girl who wasn't there. But they did search 4 of our rooms. They found nothing. Obviously, I knew they weren't going to find anything in mine, and I was pretty much 99% confident they weren't going to find anything in my friend's room either. The other 2 girls, I didn't really think either. It was kind of only one girl who was a little bit sketchy, and she did have like some sketchy friends that we kind of thought, okay, maybe it was her. Like, we all kind of thought that, but she wasn't there, so they couldn't search her room. And like, it's not like, I don't know. I don't remember them asking us, like, if we could give consent for them to search her room, because, like, her door was locked. Maybe that was why. I don't really know. But they didn't end up searching her room, but they did search all of our rooms, and I'm like, kid you not, every single inch, like, drawers, under the bed, under the mattress, like, everything they were searching. I was just like, whoa, like, we're the ones that called you. Like, what are you guys doing? And I remember my one roommate was, like, really nervous because she was actually under 21 at the time, and she had, like, a bottle of, like, I don't even remember. It was, like, Bailey's, like, Irish cream, I think, like, something, like, really ridiculous. Isn't even, like, really alcohol at all. And she was, like, so nervous that they were gonna, like, arrest her. I'm like, no, like, it's really gonna be fine. Like, they're looking for a gun. They're not looking for your Bailey's Irish cream. Because she was, like, 20 and a half at the time. But, yeah, so they searched literally our whole apartment, which I wasn't really expecting them to do. Like, when I called them, I'm like, whoa, like, what is going on here? But, I mean, I guess they were really searching to make sure there was nothing bad in our apartment, which, I mean, it kind of made me feel a little bit better that they did search the majority of our apartment and didn't find anything. But, yeah, that was kind of the end of it, and we never really figured out what happened or how it got there. They did end up taking the bullet. They said they were going to, like, test it or whatever. I don't really know what they were going to do with it, but they did end up taking it, but I never heard back from them about anything. They did say, like, call us if you find anything else. We never did. I think I would have been a whole hell of a lot more scared if this would have happened, like, in the beginning of the year or in the middle of the year, but at this point, like I said, we were moving out literally, I think, 2 or 3 days later, so it was really towards the end of the year. We were really only going to have to live with these people for, like, 2 to 3 more days, so it wasn't, like, super, super scary. I feel like if I had a really long time to still live with them, I would have been really concerned and, like, called, like, a house meeting or something and been like, yo, like, who the hell brought this in here or brought somebody in here who had this, because that's not cool, you know. And we could have gotten in trouble, you know, for it if they would have found, like, a gun or something in a common area. Like, I don't know what would have happened at that point, even though I wouldn't have had anything to do with it. I don't know how I would have, like, proved that necessarily, but yeah. It was just really, really scary, and again, I don't really know whatever happened with it, but it kind of just goes back to, like, if you really don't have to live with random people, don't. Trust the people that you live with, like, because we went all year and had no problems, and then that happened at the end, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I am never living with random roommates ever again. Like, no matter how bad you have to pay the rent, no matter what you have to do, like, live with somebody that you know. And if you can't afford to live, like, on your own or with somebody that you know and you need, like, all these random roommates, live with your mom and dad for a little bit longer, because it's just not worth it. Like, it was very, very scary, and I feel like I didn't really realize how scary it was till after that. And then I was just thinking, like, one night I could have been in my bed sleeping with somebody in my living room with a gun, like, with a door separating us, one door. So yeah, I mean, it was just a very scary experience. Again, like I said, don't live with random roommates. Just don't do it. Live with people that you know. But yeah, that is the ending of the story time. I'm sorry that I don't really have, like, a legit ending to this, because I don't know whatever happened. And it is something that I think about sometimes, like, literally, how the hell did that get there? Like, you know, in the couch cushions. Like, I don't know, and I mean, I never will know, but yeah, that is the end of my story time. I hope you guys did enjoy this video and it didn't scare you too much to go to college and possibly live with random people. But yeah, if you guys want more story time, just give this video a thumbs up and I'll be sure to do that. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye!